Hey, it's Kenza.
And it's Chloe.
And we're the
Holy Queso Girls.
Welcome to our third episode. And we're doing something cool. We're going to start a series. Essentially, it's going to be God versus science. So we're going to talk about how science plays into Christianity and how people sometimes see science versus God when it really isn't that.
So many Christians have a problem with science because they think it tries to disprove a creator. Now, there are some scientists and theories who try to do that, but science itself just investigates the physical world that God created. Science does not contradict faith. It reveals the creator in all the tiny thought-out details.
Amen. Amen.
So, the first one we wanted to get into was fine-tuning. And the fine-tuning of the universe refers to the observation that the fundamental physical constants and conditions of the universe are precisely set to allow for the existence of life, which points us to the fact that life is not by chance, but someone thoughtfully designed it on purpose.
Right, so essentially the worldview of we're nothing, we don't mean anything, or we're actually created for a purpose. So we're kind of going to go into this series discussing a lot of things like, honestly, like Christian apologetics. We're going to look into some, like, debunking evolution and creationism. We're going to look into some cool stuff. Today we're kind of going to do, like, fine-tuning, DNA. It's honestly super interesting when you study it. It's really cool. So we're going to help y'all study with it. But anyway, I'm going to let her kick it off because she got all the info.
Okay, so one example of fine-tuning is entropy. Okay,
Big word.
we're gonna go a little science lesson, okay? Try not to get bored with me, because I swear it gets cool. You gotta know some of the science behind it. So, entropy is the process of physical energetic systems moving from an organized state to a disorganized state. So picture your house.
I didn't understand a word you said.
Okay, I'll break it down. Okay, picture your house, neat and organized. That's low entropy, okay? But leave it alone, don't pick up after yourself after a while, and chaos creeps in. Clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, stuff everywhere. That's entropy increasing.
So it's chaos, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. So if we paid attention in science class, we know that energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred. For example, if we put ice in a cup of water, the heat energy in the water will continue to transfer to the ice until the ice is completely melted, and the glass of water reaches equilibrium. With energy evenly distributed in the glass, there's no more potential for change.
Right, so essentially, it's not going to turn into something else.
Okay, so keep that in mind. So the second law of thermodynamics states that the total entropy of an isolated system can only increase over time, moving towards a state of greater disorder. To put it simply, it's constantly increasing, trying to reach equilibrium. Living organisms are able to maintain their own low entropy states by taking in low entropy energy, like sunlight, and expelling high entropy energy, like heat. In other words, life borrows order from the universe, uses it to build and sustain itself, and in doing so, still obeys the second law by increasing the overall entropy of the universe. This is significant because the universe had to start from an extremely low entropy state, highly ordered, full of potential energy that hadn't been used yet. If the universe had begun already in a state of high entropy, completely disordered and evenly spread out, nothing complex could have emerged. No stars, no chemistry, no life. It's so organized and full of energy potential that it almost seems as though someone set this thing up in mind on purpose. Because it began in such a low entropy state, it made space for thousands of generations of living beings to emerge, each drawing on the universe's energy, each contributing to the grand unfolding of time. Every living thing has played a part in increasing the universe's entropy while also adding to its story. All of that science, all of it, okay, means that the universe was created with us in mind. It was calculated that the stars and the planets and our bodies would take in and let out energy, and all of it would have to be accounted for somehow. Life didn't just happen in the universe. Life was woven into its very design.
Right. I love that.
Crazy.
I think I just came up with like a thing that might help. It helps me understand like kind of what she was talking about like the energy distribution.
Yeah.
I learned it in science class, and essentially it's like, you know, obviously energy isn't created; it's like reused, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when something dies, like let's say a bug dies, so it's gonna decompose into the soil, and the soil is gonna get nutrients from that dead thing to grow a plant.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's just like what she's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's constantly increasing and it's trying to find a state of equilibrium. It's one day it will get to a state to where there's no more energy that can be transformed. And that's why it's so crazy that the world was created with such low entropy, because it took in mind that there would be billions of people and billions of living things that would add energy to it. It's crazy to think about. Like, yeah. Honestly, it was so thought out.
So
it's crazy.
When we start, like, we're gonna start talking about it, especially like, because this is kind of overview, but there was some crazy stuff about like how crazy our world is, so like fine tuned.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and today I only have 2 examples for y'all. There are billions of examples. Billions.
Okay, what we got next?
Okay. Another example is the atom. If we paid attention in science class, we know an atom has a nucleus with protons and neutrons inside of it, and electrons are on the outside, just kind of spinning around. But the weird part is that protons are positive, and there are multiple ones that sit inside the nucleus. But that shouldn't be possible, because if they're both positively charged, they should be repelling each other. Right? I mean, we know how magnets work. Right. But there's a strong force in the atom that keeps the protons together. It's the most powerful force of the universe's fundamental forces. And here's where the fine-tuning gets wild. If that strong force were just 2% weaker, 2%, atoms would not hold together. Everything made of matter, from stars to cells to you and me, would instantly fall apart.
And it's crazy, 2% for that small of a thing.
Yeah.
Is insane. Like, compared to like, it's like crazy.
2% milk.
2% milk. But it's insane, like how the tiny things matter.
Yeah. Okay, now listen to this. Colossians 1:17 says, "He is behind all things, and in him all things hold together."
There you go.
That verse hits different when you understand atoms. Paul is describing a spiritual reality that science confirms. Atoms make up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And there's this force that is holding it together.
And
this unexplainable force. Right. Bro, come on. Behind the law.
Be a god.
How? Behind the laws of physics lies a creator who not only brought the universe into being, but sustains it moment by moment. It's not just that God made all things, it's that he holds them together.
Yes. And if he spent that much time on an atom, how much time do you think he spent on you?
Ooh.
He cares about you. And even though there's like billions of us on the planet, he took his time with like blades of grass, like photosynthesis, like all the things, if you think about it in science class, all the things that somehow crazily match up together, you know, the circle of life, you know, like predators and all that kind of stuff to make it perfect. You are much more important to him than all of those things.
Yeah.
So, he cares about you. Yeah.
So if you're hearing this and you're like, Chloe, that's just a coincidence. There's no way all this adds up. Like, what's one verse in the Bible have to do with all of creation? Listen to this next part, okay? Here's where it becomes even more sobering. When that strong force inside an atom is disrupted, when scientists split the protons from that force that holds it all together, it doesn't just break the atom, it unleashes a devastating chain reaction. It's the creation of nuclear warfare.
Well, dang.
The most destructive weapons humanity has ever known. Dude,
that's crazy.
It's no accident that splitting what holds life together creates unimaginable levels of death and chaos. That when God is taken out of the picture, death and destruction follow.
So you're telling me if everything that held everything together was disrupted, we would all blow up. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like looking at this closet over here and I'm like, that's made of atoms. And that's we're all gonna die.
It takes a lot of effort to split an atom.
I know, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's insane to think about. Like, how does that add up? How?
Right. But it's crazy, like, to think, again, like, how finely tuned everything is. Because, like, if you really think about it, if you look outside when you're driving down the highway, you see all the trees and all the things. And just in that tree, there's, like, billions of reactions inside of that one tree. And us, we have, like, trillions of reactions and, like, chemical reactions and all sorts of stuff in us. And, like, how could it not be designed, right?
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to think about, too.
Yeah.
Especially as we dive deeper into this. It's super interesting.
Today I was, whenever I was driving here, I saw the sunset. And I was, like, just blown away by, like, how beautiful it was and all the colors. Think about how much work goes into that alone.
Right.
How we just drive right past it and we don't think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it does that every day.
Right.
Without fail. Like,
right.
it's so crazy.
It's so
dude.
crazy.
How can you look at that and not think that someone designed it on purpose? How can you look at that and think it just happened? Like, we're just here for no reason. It just happened.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Because everything aligns together, like, so perfectly that it couldn't be by chance. That it all seemed to, all the billions of things seem to be together.
Yeah.
Like, perfectly. Love that.
So another example of science not contradicting faith, but revealing the Creator and all the tiny thought out details is moral law. For example, we can look at Leviticus chapter 18. This chapter is full of God warning the Israelites not to have sexual relations with family members.
That's gross.
Yeah, like aunts and cousins and father's sister, like all sorts of stuff. It's a lot. And yeah, when we hear it, we're like, ew, duh, like
But
don't do that.
it wasn't that uncommon back in the day. Because they didn't have many people there. I'm just saying.
But back then, they didn't know all the stuff that we know now through science. They didn't know about DNA and genetics like we do. So they didn't know what they were doing was incest, and it causes a lot of problems and a lot of
massive genetic weirdness.
Yeah, it causes some bad things. God was trying to protect them from genetic disorders and immune problems that are caused through incest way before humans had the scientific knowledge of it. We're also told not to commit adultery or prostitute ourselves, and I'm sure for many reasons. On that one, self-esteem, mental health, striving for a healthy family dynamic, but also sexually transmitted diseases are definitely a big worry with prostitution and adultery. And that's obviously just looking at the physical part of it. There are many, many important reasons of why those things are not good.
Right.
But God was trying to protect them from these things before science could explain the why behind it. I know. Explain the why behind it. Another example is in Leviticus. There were laws like isolating those with diseases or ritual washings after handling dead things. They were practicing quarantine and hand washing and sanitation way before they knew what germs were.
Right.
Way before.
And they had no idea what any of this was. Like, absolutely no scientists.
I'm sure
no
that they looked at this like the weirdest, just like we look at it as, oh, there's just outdated laws that was just this old grumpy old man saying you can't do this and you can't do that. And it's like, y'all, he was trying to protect these people.
Right.
He was trying to say, hey, I don't want you living this life harder than it has to be. It's crazy. And though ancient people didn't have the science to understand the health reasons behind these instructions, the laws created a framework that preserved life. It shows us that even when we don't understand the why, God's commands are rooted in wisdom and care. He's not some cranky old man who just didn't want us to do anything. He's a loving Father who wanted us to thrive and wanted us to be saved from the things that could hurt us through our ignorance.
I love that. That's crazy too, like, if you think of it back in the day, Like, I'm just imagining it from their standpoint. Like, wash your hands. Like, what? These people, like, they didn't have any, like, you gotta think way back. Like, rewind. They didn't have anything like we did. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
They live in tents. It was very dirty. You know.
I mean, we
never
heard
almost
the
never
thing
showered.
about alcohol last time. They thought spirits, like
Right. So they had,
literal spirit went inside of you and made you a
Right.
different person. Like
almost nothing was invented.
their thinking
So,
was crazy.
They had no, like, almost nobody was able to read. Like, it was very, very back in the day. And the fact that they got that type of instruction that we now know the reason why, just as another proof of an intelligent creator. Because why would he do all of that
Yeah.
if he didn't already know what germs were?
Like, why would he tell them not to eat pork? Most people look at that one like so weird. And there's multiple reasons you can look at, but one of them is pork really has nothing healthy for your body.
Right.
Honestly. Like, bacon does not do anything good for
Right.
you. And there's also, people look at that one because it was also a way for the Israelites or the Jews to be set apart from the Gentiles because they were practicing self-control and saying, hey, okay, I can't eat this, even though it kind of looks good, I can't eat it. There were multiple reasons for these laws, but you look at the science behind it and it's like, okay, maybe God's not crazy. There was a purpose for this.
Yeah. That's cool. I like that.
I think that might be all we have for this episode.
All right. Well, that concludes episode 3. See y'all in the next one.
Bye!
Bye.